Welcome back to the channel BBC Coin. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1959 Liberty 1-cent coin, including the famous 1959 D penny and the mysterious no-mint mark version. And by the end of this video, you might look at your spare change very differently. Let's start with the story. The year 1959 was not just any year for US coins. It marked a historic transformation. For the first time since 1909, the design of the Lincoln penny changed. The old wheat ears on the back were replaced with the iconic Lincoln Memorial. This change celebrated the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. So every 1959 penny became part of history, the very first Lincoln Memorial cent ever produced. But here's where things get interesting. There are two main types of this coin. The 1959 D penny, minted in Denver. And the 1959 penny with no mint mark, minted in Philadelphia. The mint mark is a small letter found below the date on the coin. If you see AD, it came from Denver. If there is no letter at all, it came from Philadelphia. And surprisingly, both versions were produced in massive numbers. Billions of coins were made. So how can something so common be worth so much? The answer lies in three powerful factors: condition, rarity, and errors. Let's break it down. First, condition. Most 1959 pennies that you find today are worn out. Scratches, dull color, faded details, these coins are usually worth only a few cents. Sometimes just their face value. But if a coin is in perfect or near perfect condition, something collectors call mint state, everything changes. Coins that still have their original bright red copper shine are extremely valuable. These are called red coins, and they are the most desired by collectors. In fact, high-grade examples of 1959 pennies have sold for hundreds, or even thousands of dollars at auctions. Second, rarity. Even though billions were made, very few survived in perfect condition. Think about it. These coins were used in daily life, buying candy, paying for groceries, passing through millions of hands. Over time, most became worn and damaged. So finding one in flawless condition today is like finding a needle in a haystack. That's why some top-quality coins can reach values between $1,000 and $3,000, or even more in rare cases. Yes, a single penny worth thousands. Now let's talk about the most exciting part. Errors. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process. These mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. Some 1959 pennies have doubled letters, off-center strikes, or unusual markings. But one of the most mysterious and valuable stories is about rare variations that collectors still debate today, including unusual design combinations and rare minting anomalies. These rare coins can sell for huge amounts depending on their uniqueness and condition. Now here's the big question. Can a 1959 Liberty 1-cent coin really be worth $1,200? The answer is yes, but not all of them. Only specific coins with the right combination of condition, color, and rarity can reach that level. For example, coins graded at very high levels, like MS-67 or higher, especially with full red luster, can sell for $500 to $1,200 or more. And in extreme cases, even higher values have been recorded. But if your coin is worn or damaged, it might only be worth a few cents. So how do you check your coin? Here are a few simple steps. First, look at the date. Make sure it says 1959. Second, check below the date. If you see AD, it's from Denver. If you see nothing, it's from Philadelphia. Third, examine the color. Is it bright and shiny red? Or dark brown and worn? The brighter and more original the color, the higher the value. Fourth, inspect for errors. Look closely at the letters, numbers, and edges. Any unusual doubling or misalignment could mean something special. And finally, consider the condition. Does it look brand new? Or heavily used? This is one of the most important factors in determining value. Here's something many people don't realize. Just because a coin is listed online for thousands of dollars doesn't mean it actually sells for that price. There are many exaggerated listings out there. Experts warn that most common pennies are not worth huge amounts, and buyers should rely on verified sales and professional grading. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1980 United States Lincoln penny, especially the rare varieties with no mint mark or unique features. This is not just pocket change. This is a story of hidden treasure, history, and the thrill of discovery. Let's begin. The 1980 Liberty 1-cent coin is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial Series. On the front, you see the iconic face of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength and unity. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly, representing American heritage. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary penny. But here's where things get interesting. Most people don't realize that coins minted in Philadelphia in 1980 do not have a mint mark. That's right, no letter under the date. Many people think this means something is missing or that the coin is rare by default. But in reality, billions of these coins were produced without a mint mark. So if there are billions of them, how can one be worth $1,200? This is where collectors pay attention to details that most people overlook. The truth is, not every 1980 penny is valuable. In fact, most are worth only 1 cent to a few cents in circulated condition. But a very small number of these coins, those with rare errors or in perfect condition, can reach prices that shock even experienced collectors. Imagine holding a coin that looks completely normal, but under a magnifying glass, you notice something unusual. One of the most valuable features to look for is something called a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck with a misaligned die, causing the letters or numbers to appear doubled. On a 1980 penny, this doubling can appear in the word Liberty, the date, or even the phrase "In God We Trust." Coins with this error have sold for hundreds of dollars, and in some cases, even more depending on their condition. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where the real money comes in. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that has been used in circulation for years will have scratches, wear, and discoloration. But a coin that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, can be worth dramatically more. For the 1980 penny, coins graded at extremely high levels, such as MS-67 or MS-68, are extremely rare. And when rarity meets demand, prices can skyrocket. Some of these top-grade coins have reached values exceeding $1,000 at auctions. So yes, the idea of a $1,200 penny is real. But it's not just any penny. It must be exceptional. Now here's something even more exciting. Some 1980 pennies have unique minting errors that make them one of a kind. These include off-center strikes, clipped planches, and double strikes. These errors happen during the minting process, and instead of being destroyed, some slip into circulation. Collectors love these mistakes because they are rare, unusual, and impossible to replicate. For example, an off-center coin, where the design is not properly aligned, can be worth anywhere from tens to hundreds of dollars depending on how dramatic the error is. A clipped coin, where part of the metal is missing, can also bring strong prices. And then there are the rare combinations, high-grade coins with visible errors. These are the ones that can push values into the thousands. Now, let's address something very important. There are many listings online claiming that any 1980 penny with no mint mark is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. This is simply not true. The absence of a mint mark is normal for Philadelphia coins from that year. What truly matters is the condition, the presence of errors, and professional grading. This is why coin authentication services like PCGS or NGC play a huge role in determining value. A certified coin with a high grade can sell for significantly more than an uncertified one. So if you think you've found a valuable coin, don't rush to sell it. Get it examined first. Now imagine this scenario. You're cleaning out an old drawer. You find a handful of pennies. Among them is a 1980 coin, shiny, clean, almost untouched. You take a closer look. No mint mark. The lettering looks slightly doubled. The coin feels special. Could this be your lucky day? This is exactly how many collectors discover valuable coins, completely by accident. The beauty of coin collecting is that treasure can be hiding anywhere, in your pocket, your piggy bank, or even your couch cushions. And that's what makes the 1980 Liberty 1-cent coin so fascinating. It's common enough that anyone could find one, but rare enough in certain forms that it could change your day, or even your life. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1981 United States Liberty 1-cent coin with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Just another copper coin you might find in your pocket, your drawer, or even lying forgotten somewhere in your house. But what if I told you that some of these coins have been valued at $1,200, $3,000, even up to $5,000 in rare cases? Yes, a single penny. So let's uncover the truth behind this mysterious coin, and how you can tell if you might be holding a hidden treasure. First, let's understand what no mint mark actually means. Many people think a missing mint mark is an error, something rare, something special. But here's the truth. In 1981, coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint did not carry a mint mark at all. So if your coin has no letter under the date, that simply means it was made in Philadelphia. And here's the twist. That makes it incredibly common. Over 7 billion coins were minted that year. So how can something so common be worth over $1,200? That's where things get interesting. Let's talk about what really gives this coin its value. The 1981 penny is special because it was one of the last full years the US Mint used 95% copper, before switching to cheaper zinc in 1982. That alone makes it historically important. But historical importance doesn't always mean high value. What matters most is condition, rarity, and errors. Imagine this. Two people each have the same 1981 coin. One is scratched, worn, dull, maybe it's been used for decades. The other looks brand new. Shiny. Red. Perfect edges. No scratches. Guess which one collectors want? Exactly. Coins are graded on a scale, and the highest grades like MS-67 or MS-68 are extremely rare. In fact, only a handful of 1981 no mint mark coins exist in near-perfect condition, and those have been valued at thousands of dollars, even around $5,000 in some cases. So yes, your coin could be worth $1,200 or more, but only if it's in exceptional condition. Now let's talk about something even more exciting. Errors. This is where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary money. Some 1981 pennies have rare minting mistakes, and collectors love errors. Here are a few you should watch for. A double die, where the letters look slightly doubled. An off-center strike, where the design is not properly aligned. A broad strike error, where the coin appears stretched. Or even tiny cracks and unusual markings. These errors can push the value from a few cents to hundreds, and sometimes over $1,000 depending on how rare and visible the mistake is. But wait, there's something even rarer. During 1981, the US Mint was experimenting with new materials. A few coins were accidentally struck on zinc planchets instead of copper. These are extremely rare. And if you ever find one, it could be worth $1,000 or more instantly, especially if authenticated. Now let's make this practical. How can you check if your 1981 penny is valuable? Here's a simple checklist. First, look at the color. If it's bright reddish and shiny, that's a good sign. Second, check for scratches or wear. Less damage means higher value. Third, inspect the details. Are the letters sharp? Is Lincoln's face clear? Fourth, look for errors. Anything unusual could increase value. And finally, weigh the coin if possible. A standard copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. If it's lighter, it could be something rare. Here's something many people don't realize. Most 1981 pennies are only worth a few cents, around their copper value. But the difference between a common coin and a valuable one is sometimes just a tiny detail. A slight difference in condition. A small error. A rare variation. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Think about it. Right now, somewhere in your home, there could be a coin worth more than your phone. More than your monthly expenses. More than you ever imagined. Just sitting quietly, waiting to be discovered. And that's the beauty of the 1981 Liberty 1-cent coin. It's not just money. It's history. Today we are diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1996 Liberty 1-cent coin, especially the versions with no mint mark and the famous 1996 D coin that collectors are hunting like hidden treasure. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might look at your loose coins very differently. First, let's understand what this coin actually is. The 1996 1-cent coin belongs to the legendary Lincoln Memorial Penny Series, one of the most recognized coins in United States history. On the front, you see the calm and iconic face of Abraham Lincoln, and beside him, the word Liberty, the very word that gives this coin its identity. On the back, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial Building, a symbol of strength, history, and unity. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1996 pennies are the same. Now you might be thinking, what is a mint mark? A mint mark is a small letter under the year on the coin that tells you where the coin was made. If there is no letter at all, that means it was made in Philadelphia. If there is a D, it was made in Denver. Simple, right? But this small detail can completely change the value of your coin. Let's talk about the 1996 coin with no mint mark. Millions, actually billions of these coins were produced. In fact, over 6.6 billion coins were made in Philadelphia alone. So normally, this coin is extremely common. If your coin is worn out, scratched, or used, its value is just 1 cent. Yes, just 1 cent. But here comes the twist. If that same coin is in perfect condition, something collectors call mint state, its value can rise dramatically. Coins in high grades like MS-68 or MS-69 are extremely rare, because the material used in these coins is very delicate and easily damaged. And when rarity meets perfection, the price explodes. Some high-grade 1996 pennies have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Now let's talk about the 1996 D coin. At first glance, it's nothing special. The Denver Mint produced more than 6.5 billion of these coins. That means, just like the no mint mark coin, most of them are completely ordinary. But again, condition changes everything. A shiny, perfectly preserved 1996 D coin can be worth hundreds, even thousands. In fact, one of the highest quality examples sold for over $3,500 in a professional auction. Let that sink in. From 1 cent to thousands of dollars.